Yo, yo, yo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers, and freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorilla is in the building. Hitting y'all with this here live stream where we're gonna get into more elite bullshit, more elite strategy, more elite moves. We're gonna talk about it today, man. We're gonna talk about it today. No one is safe when we expose the nonsense. No one is safe. Not a Republican, not a Democrat. Because not an independent, not a Green Party motherfucker. Nobody is safe. None of these elite class people are going to pull the wool over our eyes, right? We're not going to stick on this left-right paradigm bullshit in order, right? Salute to brother Trill Will in the building. Oh, no, that's not Trill Will. My bad. I saw the two L's. Salute to my brother Stray Godzilla. Anyway, Freedom March, Freedom Family. This is Snapzilla Gorilla. We're gonna get into this. We're gonna expose the nonsense on the left and the right. We're gonna talk about common sense, and yeah, we're gonna do it like that. We have to protect these children because you got people out there that want to minimize this whole situation because they know that their favorite people on the right or the left are involved in this scandal. And trust me, this is probably the hugest scandal in United States history. This is going to be the worst scandal, the biggest scandal. Because what are we talking about? We're talking about children. We're talking about little babies. Whether you want to call them teenagers or prepubescent, it doesn't matter. These are babies that we're talking about. These victims are children. And they are going to try to make distinctions, like the Hodge twins. Right? We know those two coons, right? The conservative twins. Trying to make distinctions. Oh, they ain't prepubescent. They're teenagers. They teenagers. Because they were talking about one victim who spoke out and were calling for the DOJ and the Congress. Where she was talking about Congress, this young lady, was urging Congress to do their job and release the files and release the names. And that's when the Hodge twins, they were reacting to it. And they were talking about, oh, well, they was teenagers. They wasn't blah, blah, blah. Because I think they understand that their boy Trump is in on the scandal. I think they believe that. And so they're going to try to minimize it. Oh, well, these aren't prepubescent children. They're teenagers. Right? Now, the victim that was speaking out and calling for Congress to release the names said that if they didn't do it, that she would do it, right? That the victims would get together and put these names out. And, you know, for whatever reason they don't do it, they should do it. In my opinion, they need to go ahead and release the names. Why wait for Congress? Why wait for government to expose themselves for what they are? No, I agree that they should release the names, but to call it theater and to call it, you know, whatever they want to call it, whatever the Hodge twins and people like that want to call it and try to muddy the waters. At the end of the day, these are victims. They're victims. You know, and this whole thing, when children are victimized, when anyone is victimized, when women are victimized and raped and all these different things, and they are, right, they are put through such levels of trauma, there's always the question of, well, why didn't they come out sooner? Why didn't they talk about it sooner? Well, they suffered a trauma, right? They have to live with it. They have to relive it over and over again. And if they do come out right away, guess what? They got to relive it in the public as well. They have to get attacked. They have to get, you know, people that don't really understand their plight. They're going to receive a lot of platitudes and all these different things. Maybe they're not ready to talk about it, right? These victims. The bottom line is they're victims. The bottom line is Jeffrey Epstein had these children lined up and ready to be served. These elite class pieces of shit perverts. That's the bottom line. Doesn't matter if they were teenagers, doesn't matter if they were prepubescent. The fact of the matter is these are children, impressionable young girls and boys, whatever the case may be. Now, when it comes to Ghislaine Maxwell has been in the news quite a bit lately in regards to the names, in regards to whether or not she's going to get a pardon, and all these different things. And it has come out that she was moved to Texas. She was moved to a camp in Texas. A very less stringent facility. Basically, Club Med is what they call it. They call these type of facilities Club Med because the perpetrators that get sent there, well, they get treated a lot less harshly than someone in a standard penitentiary. Now, it's come out that they had to up the security over there, probably because a level of threat that she feels she might be under. Okay, she was moved to this place, and from what I understand, she might even be under some type of work release program, like Jeffrey Epstein was. Jeffrey Epstein, the first time he was convicted and served 18 months, he was on some type of work release program where he was able to go to his office for a period of time during the day. So, you know, and it was only 18-month sentence. Well, that is something similar to what Ghislaine Maxwell is trying to seek, or she might even get a full pardon. She was supposed to serve 20 years. That might not happen. Right? That might not happen. Because in regards to Donald Trump, the cat's out the bag with him, right? Because Pam Bondi told him back in May that his name was in the files. His name was on the list. This famed or infamous list that is supposed to be, they're supposed to basically saying that you are a client if you're on this list. You're a client of Epstein's nasty dalliances, his nasty service, his evil, horrible service that he provided to the elite class members from all over the world. It's not just in this country. There are a lot of names on that list. Donald Trump's name is on the list, and it is said that he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, according to Jeffrey Epstein at one point said. What does that mean in those circles when you're somebody's best friend? I'm sure that these people all said that they're all best friends of each other. It's probably some type of running joke or some type of thing they got going on. The bottom line is, Romeo, hey, if you guys can, they keep dropping y'all off, man. They are disrupting my stream right now. They are ensuring that people aren't coming to my stream to get this information. Please drop a Romeo Lima Charlie in the chat. You guys can read me. Otherwise, I'm gonna just keep going. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell recently gave a list of 100 more names to the Department of Justice that they're saying, oh, well, the people on this list, there's nothing incriminating to link them to prosecute anybody. They are not moving. We must understand this. Not only, this is something we have to understand. Not only are they not releasing this list, not only are they not releasing certain files of this whole investigation and this whole trial against Jeffrey Epstein, they are not moving to make any further arrest of anybody. Tell me how that makes sense if it's just about Trump. See, They want you guys to believe that it's one party or the other that is more heavily involved in this scandal. No, it's both parties. Members of both parties are involved with this, from Alan Dershowitz, who is a freaking Democrat, to Donald Trump, who is supposedly a Republican. But we all know he didn't start off as a Republican, did he? Republicans, Democrats, Independents, it doesn't matter. We want the names. Well, as far as they are able to control it, they will not release these names. Somebody says, stop the cap. What am I capping about? Good morning, Black Spring with Autumn. Top of the morning to you. What am I capping about? They moved Ghislaine Maxwell to Texas, to a posh prison camp. I think a pardon is next. Well, what did she give up to get this pardon? What information has she given that led to any arrest that would get her a commuted sentence? Help me understand it. Because usually when people in Ghislaine Maxwell's position, when they get pardons, when they get, released from prison, when they give something up, it's usually if they give something up on other people, if they incriminate other individuals, that is what's going to lead them to get reduced sentences, less minimum security, whatever is going on. But they're saying there's nothing in the files, and there is no client list. They're saying there's no client list. That the list that was given of people, there's nothing to criminally charge these people for. That's what they're saying. So what is Ghislaine Maxwell getting in exchange for her cooperation? I mean, what are we getting? What is the Department of Justice getting in exchange for moving her to this camp and possibly giving her a pardon? They're going to sweep it all under. They're going to try to sweep it all under the rug. I think you should pay attention to the road while driving and not distracted. That's what I think. Well, Bidenomics sucks. I don't give a hot fuck what you think. How about that? I could care less what you think, because I am paying attention to the road. And you need to, if you're concerned about distraction, then stop writing in the chat. That's what you can do. You got that? Anyway, so think about what are we gaining from Ghislaine Maxwell getting moved to the camp? What is Trump getting? What is the DOJ getting? Are they getting any criminal evidence? Where are the further arrests? Right? Because as far as I'm concerned, this case is still open until everyone involved is placed under arrest and executed. That is what justice is. That's what justice would be. But of course, let's say all this comes out and they release all these names and these people end up going to trial and all that other shit. What kind of sentences do you think these people are going to get? You think they're going to get probation? You think they're going to get any harsh sentences? Are they going to get sentences on the level of a Ghislaine Maxwell, the 20 years? There is only one punishment for people that have victimized children to this degree. To the degree at which these children, right, were abused and victimized, there's only one just punishment for that. And that has to do with a summary execution. Why even delay it, right? If it's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that you participated in this behavior, or you're party to it, complicit. If you're implicit or complicit, that means that you were in on the victimization of the children. You knew about it, yet you kept your mouth shut. Even if you didn't participate, you didn't care enough about the children being victimized to say anything. Well, then guess what? There's only one just punishment for a motherfucker like you. Real talk. It has to do with taking you behind the court building and handling you that way. If you guys have an issue with what I'm saying, I don't understand. We're talking about children, whether they're teenagers, prepubescent, whatever they are. We're talking about children. Imagine if you had children and they're whether they're teenagers or not. Imagine your own children being treated the way these children were on Epstein's Island and elsewhere. You think it only happened on Epstein's Island? Do you think it only this happened over the course of decades? You think it only happened on the island? You don't think that there was some type of delivery system, some type of trafficking going on within the continental U.S. or outside the continental U.S.? The level of reach Jeffrey Epstein had, you never know how far and wide this goes. And we can only speculate, right? Because they won't give us the list. Y'all don't understand how important it is to have this information when we have a country full of children that are looking to us to protect them as adults. You don't think it's important to know this information? Whether it's Republican or Democrat, we want to stay stuck on that, right? No, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they're left or right. Realize, salute to you. Good morning. All is well. We need new government? No, we do not. What do we need government for? Okay, so let's say we replace this government with a new government. Well, later on down the road, we're going to be saying the same thing about that government. Our children are going to be saying it, or our children's children are going to be saying it. No, there is no such thing as a government that we need. We don't need government. What we need is self-empowerment. Self-empowerment, at the end of the day, is the only thing that is going to stop tyranny, not another government. Government is inevitable. So is freedom. Government is inevitable, but so is freedom. So is rebellion. So is revolt. So is revolution. So is evolution. Tell your mama to use lotion. Tired of looking at her ashy knees every time she gets up off the floor. Every time she get off the floor, her knees ashy. A little bit of lotion will take care of that. Let her know. Freedom says it is, Realize says freedom, it is some high profile people who do not want to incriminate themselves. Everyone is in that dang. Yeah, exactly. So we're not talking about, when we talk about this list and we're so hyper focused on, oh, well, Trump doesn't want his name exposed. He doesn't want his name to come out on the list. We already know we already know that Trump's name is in there. It makes no sense. Trump is not protecting himself. The cat's out the bag on that. We all know. Trump knows that his name is on the list. So why would he be trying to stop his name from being exposed if it's already exposed? It's bigger than Trump. It's been bigger than Trump. It's been bigger than Trump since before Trump became president. This shit goes back decades. The activities of Jeffrey Epstein goes back decades, and so does the activity of the individuals that he serviced. He provided a service to all these elite motherfuckers. And let me tell you why the list has not been released yet, because they are still being serviced. They're still being serviced. We just don't know who is doing the serving. We don't know who took Jeffrey Epstein's place. We don't even know if he was the top dog. There might have been somebody above him pulling all the strings. He was just a patsy. A scandal on this level, a racket on the level of what Jeffrey Epstein had going on. It has to run smoothly. There has to be redundancies and contingencies in place to fulfill the needs of these people. It doesn't just go, it goes beyond just sexual activity. It also goes beyond, it goes into these beauty standards of these elite people. Then Sandra Bullock told y'all that she would get the foreskins of babies and rub it on her skin to look young. I'm sure you guys heard of adrenochrome. It goes beyond just sexual activity. It goes into the fountain of youth. When they talk about the fountain of youth, she found the fountain of youth, he found the fountain of youth. They're talking about extracting the essence from the youth. The fountain of youth are our children. When it goes into when we get into organ harvesting, it goes into that as well. They don't just take them for sexual acts. You ever see that movie, The Island? They tell y'all to your face what they doing. You ever seen that? If you've seen that movie, The Island, they're telling you what's going on in that as well. In The Island, there were these people that they kept on what they call the island, and on this island they had to be in pristine health. They had to eat the perfect amount of the perfect right foods. They had to exercise rigorously every day. They couldn't be stressed out. They had to, they had to exist in this manner. And there were a couple of people on this island that wanted to know how to get out, because every time people would graduate on the island, and they would go somewhere, and the rest of the people on the island are being told they're going to paradise or they're going to some special place. But at the end of the day, where did they go? They went to get their organs harvested. They went to get their organs taken out because they are clones of real people. They're clones of real people, of elite class individuals, that in case one day I needed your organs, I could have it. And guess what? They're clones, so they're genetically identical. So you wouldn't have any issue with rejection. It'd be a perfect match. That's what was going on this island. Somebody says bull. What am I talking about? What are you talking about, bull? It's all nonsense. What's all nonsense? Black Spring Autumn says the abuse cycle always brings us back to our oppressor. They all have the answers, problems, and the solution. Yes, the Hegelian dialectic. Or there will always be government. Well, you got to stomp government out as soon as you see it rearing its ugly head. You can't allow government to take root. When you see the progression, when you understand the patterns, let's say you live within a community that's supposed to be like a completely voluntary community, and leaders are chosen by the people because they understand, the people understand that, look, this person has the right mentality. They're going to do the right thing. They lead by example. They're not pushing to be leaders. Well, the people within that community, if you see that one leader that you chose is getting out of hand and getting out of pocket and starting to abuse his power, you got to nip it in the bud immediately. You got to nip it in the bud. And that's why if you're going to have any form of government, the smaller the better, so that the leaders of that government within that community can be held accountable every single time. Once you let it get too out of control, that's when you start to lose it. And that, when we get to the central government, guess what? It's too far out of reach for the people now, right? Realize says, freedom, it is biblical too, like sacrificing of Malik. Like clone Tyrone, it was some truth in that movie. Yeah. Hostel is based on a true story. Yes, exactly. Like Hostel too. They also do that. Body porn and body horror, cutting up bodies and do different things. Listen, they tell you everything in these movies that they're doing. They're playing in your face. They're playing in your face. They're letting you know what they're up to, and that they're telling you ain't gonna do shit about it. That is what they're doing. Bro, I lost you at clones. The abuse and the stuff is real though. How did I lose you at clones? What are you talking about? I'm talking about the children. I'm talking about these people being trafficked, are not just being trafficked for sexual acts. They're being trafficked for organs. They're being trafficked for a lot of different things. I'm talking about the movie The Island, where they're telling you what they're doing. Not necessarily that they're cloning these people, but they do take these children and they do harvest organs from them. Not just children, grown as people too. The harvesting of the organs was the point of me talking about The Island, not necessarily the clones. Anonymous says, Alex Jones said they use human animal chimera for body parts like Achilles heel for ball players. Well, you know, they do that. They grow organs in labs now. They do grow organs in labs. They do that. They grow organs in labs. They use pig organ. All this. Yeah. I mean, they do that type of shit. They grow organs in labs. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, they tell you in movies and video games what they're doing all the time. And the extremes of the video game is that's their goal. But they know that there are limitations in the real world. Yes, CRISPR technology, yes. Where they can, like CRISPR technology, where you can determine the sex and the eye color of your child. Yeah. Eye color, height, you can write all that in their DNA. Wabbit in Red says that's BS. Okay, sure. Christy says, so I agree with open borders. Well, at this point in time, no. We are too far gone in the era we are in right now. The conditions we live under right now, due to government creating a lot of bullshit over the last few centuries. Yeah, they're open borders. Saying bye to my daughter because she's going to school. Organs. What am I talking about? Organs. Now, there shouldn't be a such thing as borders in the first place, open or closed. But because of government and creating a hostility all over the world, we have to have these borders because government created these problems. Now, if it were like back in pre-industrial times or back before civilization, right? What we know is civilization, where people were able to roam around freely, be nomadic, like in North America. When people in over in Europe were being kings and all this other shit and creating monarchies and trying to take over the world before they discovered this land they call North America. In North America, in the continental North America, people moved about freely. They moved about freely. There were no borders. And then guess what? The Europeans showed up. Yeah. So, tyranny all over the world created the need for a border. A door is a border. Here we go with the pedantic bullshit. Carol Perry says, borders being open or not won't matter. Has no one seen that movie when they started dropping tanks from the sky? Sooner or later, the country is going to pay for being a bully we have been. Carol Perry, I agree 100%. We have created such hostility all over the world. Not just us. All these superpowers have created enemies all over the world. They made it necessary for borders to have to be in place. The idea that these tyrants, they had to go, we have to conquer everything. We got to spread our population. We got to go everywhere and take all the resources. We got to do this. Oh, we got to go conquer that. Look at those uncivilized savages. We got to civilize them. That idea created the need for borders, because you can't just come and enjoy the culture and go back to your motherfucking spot. You can't just go back to where you came from. No, you got to come over. Oh, I like this over here. Oh yeah, we got to take this over. We got to act like we're friends with the natives. We got to act like we're friends with the indigenous folks. And then when they're least expecting it, that's when we make our move, right? That's the fight. So yes, but borders became necessary because these conquistadors and these asshats, these imperialists, felt the need to try to conquer the whole entire world. And when they did that, when they succeeded, they said, you know what? We got to create these borders, because we can't allow the same thing to happen to us. Yeah. That's just the European ideology. Absolutely, they're still doing it today. It is what it is. They say I'm crying. It is what it is. They always gonna say that silly, stupid, goofy ass shit. It is what it is, because they can't handle the truth, because it goes against what their belief system, which they really don't have one, because they suffer from cognitive dissonance. They always have these opposing beliefs at the same time. Christy says excuses. Excuses for what? What are you talking about? The bottom line is this. The elite class of the entire world, they're involved in nasty behavior involving children. Instead of focusing on that fact, we're focused on which side is doing the bad thing, when we should be focused on the fact that it doesn't matter, because individuals from both sides are involved, and they're probably there at the same time. They're probably in Congress acting like they're going against each other, and then later on that night they go meet up at some hotel and have children delivered to them. That is the issue. Excuses. Freedom Nickelodeon logo has Epstein's Island. Yeah, I saw that. Yes. Poor Jules, poor delusional snowflake. Every time someone crossed onto another group that was theirs, that's the problem. It's always some dude alone in the car. Yep. I just dropped your mom off. That's why I'm alone now. I just dropped your mom off. You might want to check on her. Wesley Zipperer says you can go to Mexico, Canada, or whatever. To the bottom line is, get your ass out of America if you don't like what's going on. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. So are poor people, perverts everywhere. Absolutely. But guess what? When poor people do it, no one hides the list. When you discover that poor people are doing this, you don't get what you get. They don't get the courtesies that Ghislaine Maxwell is getting. They don't get the courtesies Jeffrey Epstein got when he first got convicted in 2018. They don't get that courtesy. That's the difference. When poor people get caught committing these crimes, they don't get whole presidential cabinets and departments of justices protecting their asses. But the problem with the justice system that these poor people, they might just get 6 months probation. They might get 3 years in prison. So even there, the system is broken when it happens to poor people, because if they give poor people the level of harsh sentences they deserve, they would have to do it for the elite class as well. I don't understand what it has to do with anything. The point is that these elite class motherfuckers are getting away with it, and they'll continue to get away with it because people like Christie present fallacies like so are poor people. Perverse everywhere. You know what that's called? That's called the sunken cost fallacy. Well, poor people, they grape and molest children as well. So we shouldn't hold the elite class accountable. Is that what you're saying? What's the point of bringing that up? Realize says, saying stupid shit. Why the fuck are you here? No, they can't handle the truth. They want to deflect. Damn. Yes, the Epstein files are a can of worms. Who cares? Anybody that cares about children. Humble servant, I hear you. The bottom line is, man, the whole point is our children are the least protected class in the entire world. And that's case in point right now with what's going on with this Epstein shit. That is proven by the fact that the sentences for abusing children are not harsh enough. They have an entire system designed to protect children ostensibly, right? Protect child protective services. But children that end up in the system via the child protective services get abused the most. They're the most abused. They end up in the trafficking world as well. Children that end up in child protective services. Voting for against Republicans is not going to help anything. Yeah, voting for a particular party is not going to help our children. You know what's going to help our children? Us being vigilant and protecting our children. As a community, as individuals, as individual parents, as communities, we have to come together under one accord to protect the children, right? Let's see. Tug says, as long as the powerful people are the predators, nothing will change. Exactly. Predators exist amongst the powerful and the proletariat, the elite and the proletariat class. It's just that when the elite class gets caught in these types of scandals, this is what we get. We get no list. We get told, oh no, the list, there's no one on this list that we have enough evidence to incriminate. And we know it's bullshit. But when poor people and proletariat people, when they get caught, they get the punishment that is laid out by the justice system, even though that punishment is not enough. Right? Eric says, but sitting in your car is helping. Tell me how it's not. Sitting in my car is helping. How are you helping? Right in the chat. Are you helping? Jay with open eyes says they are not. Every time I hear stories about being convicted of pedophilia, they get a slap on the wrist. Yes. I'm surprised Ghislane Maxwell got 20 years. But you have to understand the gravity of what Ghislane Maxwell got convicted for. The number of victims, the sheer number of victims got her 20 years. Hundreds of victims. Dozens to hundreds of victims. 20 years. That's what it took. That's what it took. Jeffrey Epstein was facing a a large sentence based on the sheer number of victims, not on the gravity of what the victims went through, but on the number of victims, the number of counts, not on the weight of the count, right? You victimize one child to that degree, summary execution within 2 weeks of being convicted. 2 weeks. Why waste money putting these people in prison and feeding them 3 hots in a cot every day, giving them 3 hots in a cot? They got to wait 3-4 years to get executed. That makes no fucking sense. It's a waste of money. No, they get convicted beyond a shadow of a doubt of victimizing a child to this degree, to any degree. Summary execution. Point blank. Period. Point blank. Period. Realize says, freedom, not you people talking shit up in here being disrespectful. Why they here? They work for these wicked ass people. That's why they down with Trump. Oh yeah. Well, the problem is that people they don't know what they're doing. They don't really care. They're not taking it seriously. Or if they're taking it seriously, they want to protect their favorite politician. You worked for COS for years. What's COS? What have I done? Raise and protect my children. That's what I've done. Christy, I have protected and raised my children. My children have never been victims of abuse. That's what I have done. What is working for C? What is COS? What does working for COS do? J.W. Open Eyes says we live in a society where drug dealers get far more harsher sentences than child predators. It makes no sense. Why? Because these drug dealers are not sanctioned by the government like the pharmaceutical industry. They don't like competition. That's why. All talk, no action. Well, Christy, all you're doing is writing in the chat. Why should I believe that you've done anything? Why should I believe that you have taken any action? You're writing in the chat. You're not even talking. You're not even showing your face. That's what you're doing, Christy. You're sitting in my chat, writing. So what are you talking about? What action have you taken? Just because I'm talking right now doesn't mean I haven't taken any action. It is what it is. This is taking action. Giving out the information, giving my perspective on what's really going on, helping people find the light and come to a level of common sense. Steering people off the focus of Donald Trump being on the list when we know he's on the list. We need to focus on everyone that's on the list and go at them equally. Not just focus on the DOJ hiding the list or not allowing the list come out. Also focusing on the judges. The judges that won't release the files that they have or that they have the ability to release to the public. Everybody that's involved, everyone that's protecting the people on this list needs to be exposed, not just one side or the other. Stray Godzilla says feds won't touch him. Oh, of course they're on it. In on it. TJB says sitting in your car as an argument is the biggest gaslight I've ever heard. Yeah, it's wild. So what if I'm sitting on it? Where should I be sitting? Should I be standing on the soapbox? Help me understand it. Every excuse to defend the dollar. Yep. Realize says not. Oh, you're okay. Falcon Man says we must stop discussing people. All the adults have made their beds. It is time to talk about what is bad behavior and to do. Exactly. That's what we need to be talking about. First, we need them to release this goddamn list. We need them to release this list. You got what I'm talking about? Peter Cooper, who you calling a Democrat? You must got me mistaken, homie. I'm nobody's Democrat. This dummy probably want reparations too. Damian Davis. Yes, I do. Yeah. Child Protective Services. Okay, so you're protecting children? Are you protecting children? Is CPS protecting children, y'all? Why are so many children that end up in the CPS's care end up so fucked up? End up getting abused? The CPS is a government bureaucracy, number one. And number two, they just shuffle children around. How is that protecting children when you shuffle them around to so many strangers? AJ, salute you for your children being protected and loved. Yeah, reparations. As a matter of fact, that is a part of the model of the opt-out party that I'm going to start. The political party I'm going to start, the opt-out party. You opt out of government participation. That means that you opt out of being ruled by government. You opt out of government control. You opt out of government services as well. But you're given reparations when you do so because you have been extorted your entire working career. They have taken money from you. They have stolen money from your pocket, and they have redistributed it to God knows where without consulting you. They've taken your money by force. So yes, you would receive reparations for that. And you will also receive reparations for slavery as well, yes. Yeah, when the government causes trauma and damage to you, and they repay you for that, it's called reparations, yes. And it doesn't need to come from the people. No, they just got to get extracted from the corporations and the special interest groups that have benefited from this extortion. And they don't get extorted, right? You know, the corporations that don't pay taxes, they pass that cost on to you, or they pass on energy costs onto you because they don't want to pay the energy cost. It gets passed on to the customer. These corporations that take money that was extracted from you in the form of contracts, and they give kickbacks to their political minions. That's where you get the money from. Just take it from the people that have been stealing from you, that have been benefiting from having your money stolen from you. Yes, yes, sir, Bader. A drug dealing is a voluntary transaction. Absolutely. I work for Child Protective Service. So what? That means that you're a party to the CPS nonsense. You're just exposing yourself as party to a flawed system that does not protect children. Oh, here we go. Realize says she's down with the opt-out. Yes. I got to figure out how to get that cracking. You know the slave owners? The slave owners of the United States, when the slaves were freed, they were given reparations. The slave owners were given reparations. My family did not own slaves, nor lived here when. So what? But you want my? I told you, Patriot Watcher, that the taxpayers do not have to pay for reparations. The corporations that benefited from slavery and the corporations that benefit today from having our wealth extracted from our time and labor and energies, and the government politicians that line their pockets with our extortion money when they play in the money market with our money. We get it from them. We don't take it from the taxpayer. We take it from these corporations. We take it from these countries that we have been given hundreds of billions of dollars to. That's where we get our money back from. But y'all don't listen. Just the facts, man, says poor me. Why are you whining about yourself? Why are you whining about your situation? It's okay. I'm pretty sure there's somebody in your life you can go cry on their shoulder. You know how much you enjoy here because of us? Wondering who the fuck are you talking about? Because of us. Who's the us? First of all, I'm a veteran. Let's get that straight. So I don't know who this us is you talking about or how much I enjoy. I work. I work and earn a living. Patriot Watcher says it's an idiotic idea without presenting an opposing idea. That's not idiotic. I know I'm being trolled. It's okay. Stray Godzilla, they don't know how to. Yes, the European is the original illegal immigrant. The bottom line is this. Jodo Manai says, I also think racism has to do at least a bit why drug dealers get harsher convictions because they know the group of people they instigated to take part in the most. Yes, absolutely. This Epstein file, the Epstein file, we know that there are a lot of elite class individuals that would be incriminated if all this came out. That's why it's not going to come out. It's not because Donald Trump's name is on the list. We know his name is on the list. We know Prince Andrew's name is on the list. We know Alan Dershowitz's name is on the list. No, they're not protecting those individuals. No, they're protecting the names we don't know. They're protecting the peoples whose names are on there that we don't know. Not the Clintons, not Tom Hanks, not people that have already been exposed for being on the list or being on the manifest. That's not who they're protecting from that's on the list. No, it's the other people that have not been named that are being protected. They are being protected. That's what we need to focus on. It doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. No one even talked about this when Biden was in office. Nobody. It's from elite class members from all over the world. All over the world. They are all in league together. They continue to this day to participate in this behavior. Jeffrey Epstein was replaced, y'all. Somebody is doing this in Jeffrey Epstein's place. Somebody is doing it in Ghislaine Maxwell's place. They will always exist as long as we allow it to happen. Why? Because we're focused on certain individuals instead of focusing on what we should be focused on. June Niner says, keep spreading the light, Freedom's March. I appreciate that. I will. Yes, every now and then I do address the trolls and I address the contentious comments because that's what free speech is all about. I've been advised to, put it on members only and do all these. I'm not doing all that. It is what it is. It is what it is. Because we need to see these comments. We need to see how people are addressing this out in the real world. So you admit children are slaves now and you only want reverence for those who have never been slaves? What are you talking about? No. Reparations is not contingent upon slavery. No, you get reparations for any damage you receive. You know how when you go to court, let's say you vandalized somebody's house or you went to Target and you stole a bunch of shit and damaged a lot of property and they caught you and you got to go to court and the judge convicts you of they give you a fine, they might give you some time in jail or they might not. But one thing they're going to do is order you to pay restitution to Target. Why? Because you vandalized their property. You stole their shit. And it's called restitution. That means you repay them for the damages you caused. That's called restitution. It's the same thing as reparations. It doesn't have to be slavery. Reparations is basically you're repairing the damage you caused monetarily or by some other means. What is EPT? This year marks 249 years in the so-called American. Next year makes 250 years. It's said that every 250 years an empire must fall. Next year, 2026, will be the worst than this year. Well, it might be. You wasn't a slave and my family didn't have them. Y'all don't have another talking point other than that? I mean, man, do y'all have an original thought? Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. Just understand, Selena McPherson, I appreciate that. Thank you. Kristen Forheeser says, by the way, though the two words do not mean the same thing, so I encourage everybody to actually investigate the difference between reparations and restitution. They don't mean the exact same thing, but they're used for the same purpose. Restitution is something that you pay to the victim in the form of damages, right? Just like a lawsuit, you might win a lawsuit, a settlement. You're still getting paid for damages and all these different things. You're getting paid for damages. You're getting paid for the harm you have caused to another party. Restitution, reparation, settlement, paying a lawsuit. You know, we don't need to get pedantic. We understand the gist of it, right? But yes, by all means, investigate the difference between restitution and reparations. Go ahead. It's perfectly fine. Yes, America will be 250 years old next year. You want free money. There's no such thing as free money. Number one. Who's going to pay? Eugene Stone. I explained who's going to pay. Go back in time in this live stream and I explain who's going to pay the reparations. Should the Irish and Chinese get them too? What about the Native? Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Why not? The Japanese did. The Japanese that, the families of the Japanese that were put in internment camps during World War II after Pearl Harbor, they got reparations. Absolutely. The small hats got reparations for the Holocaust. There's precedent for it. Was it free money when they got it? I mean, help me understand. Shadow Band Guru says, I subscribe. Salute to you. I appreciate that. Gene Stoner asks if he's going to pay. Prince Kirioka says Japanese attacked us World War II. Not the Japanese Americans that were here during the attack that they put in. They did not attack anybody. Gonna hold me accountable for something I had no part in. Once again, someone like Eugene Stoner doesn't pay attention. Anyway, what we need to pay attention to are these elite class nasty perverts that are having their way with our children and nothing is being done about it. And anyone that abuses children needs to be punished for it. But when it's the proletariat or the poor class that does it, they receive the justice and the punishment, do they not? They don't get protected by the government. They get exposed. They get put on a registry list. They get put on Megan's Law list. Y'all remember that? If Joe Schmo down the street gets caught diddling children, they will not be protected like these elite class motherfuckers are being protected now. That's the point. The Italians were also in camps. Well, they need to talk to their government. These fallacies you guys are throwing at me is wild and out of control. That's why I told you, Eugene Stoner, go back. Go back and listen to what I said about who should pay the reparations. Anyway, thank you guys for coming through. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your contentious comments. Thank you for your encouraging comments. I appreciate all of it. I appreciate the likes, the shares. Bada boom, bada bing. No black deserves reparations. Lazy, fuck, get a job. Okay, Brad, thank you for your advice. Yes, this is on a biblical scale that Satan said hate God. Eugene Stoner, just to give you an idea. For instance, let's say you decide to opt out. All that money that has been extorted from your paycheck in the form of taxes. How they would repay you for that is they would take it from the corporations and the entities that benefited from your tax dollar being taken from them, and also the government officials that receive kickbacks, right, for shilling our money over to the corporate welfare recipients. So the corporate welfare recipients will pay you will pay you in the form of reparations. So will the politicians that get kickbacks from those corporate welfare recipients. And also the countries that receive billions and billions of dollars from us every year, they would also pay for those reparations, not the taxpayer. Can't answer the facts. How does one answer a fact? Anyway, thank you guys for coming through. Pay attention to this whole Epstein list. It's not just Democrats, not just Republicans, not just Trump, not just this guy, not just that guy. They moved Ghislane Maxwell for a reason. They upped her security for a reason. They got names from her, and they're telling us, oh, no one on this name, no name on this list. There's no one on this list that we can go after and prosecute. There's no evidence of anything. Pay attention to that. Then why did she give a list? Why did she give the list in the first place? Why did she give 100 more names if they don't amount to anything? It doesn't make sense. And if they don't amount to anything, then how is it that she was moved to a more comfortable location to serve her sentence? That's what we need to be paying attention to. And that's what I encourage everybody to pay attention to. All right? So anyway, much love, like, share, subscribe. I'll holler at y'all later. And let's keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.